Hey man, how you doing?
Hey there, buddy. Good, good. All right. Oh, look at that.
Oh, start video. Does it every time.
There we go.
There it is.
Perfect.
Lockeland, what's going on, my people? How you guys doing, man?
Hey,
Hey,
We're
good. How you
good,
doing?
buddy. How you doing, Dylan?
Man, I am doing really well, and I'm excited to have you guys on the show. Thanks for actually wanting to do the show. So, Lockeland consists of Michael Boris, Mark Vikingstad. Is that correct? How I said that?
yeah, Vikingstad. Yeah, that's good.
Vikingstad, man, that is cool. That is such a cool name. I'm not gonna even lie. And then
Thank you.
Powerful.
Kyndon Oakes. What's going on? Lockeland, ladies and gentlemen. Lockeland.
Hey,
And in my
Hey,
in my opinion, I grabbed you guys early because I think, in my honest opinion, that you guys are about to blow up here pretty soon. Not gonna say it's gonna be within the next few months, but in my opinion, it's gonna be here in the near future.
Wow.
hey, we can only hope.
we
We
sure
hope
hope
so.
so. Yeah,
Appreciate
we
that.
sure
Yeah.
hope so.
Well,
Well, we
well,
appreciate that, Dylan. That's
well. The reason
compliment.
I say that is you guys have this. You guys are independent artists, but you sound like you put so much of your money and your effort, and it just sounds like this big studio production music that you guys put out. And I just think they're bangers. Like I was listening to Till the Cows Come Home, right? And I was like, oh crap, here we go. One of these till the cows come home. But then I listened to it and I was like, this is really, really good. I love the concept of it, how the music, because I expected a steel guitar, a fiddle, maybe throw in a little bit of piano. That's what I expected just because you hear the song and it's like, don't judge a book by its cover.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, thank you. Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
great.
I don't think cows play steel guitar, so that's why we didn't put it.
I don't think so either.
we
I'm
surprisingly we've had a few people talk about that song and say like they see the title, but when they actually hear the song, it throws them off because it's not what they expected it
Yeah.
in a good way.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of cool to hear that.
Gives them a
Sure.
twist. It's a twist for him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm really glad that Dylan McDermott has decided to drop by the Zoom as well here. So Dylan, tell us about your latest project you got coming out.
Yeah. The latest project is going to be called Blackberry Whiskey,
Yeah.
and we're going to release that in the early April, we believe, early April.
Uh,
It's a song that we've played in our live streams. It was a song that we've been playing for a while. We wrote it about 2.5 years ago, and it's just one of those songs that the fans always seem to come back to. They always love it. They request it. It gets requested on our live streams, and they've wanted a recorded version of it. And we got into the studio, we got it recorded, and we're ready to release it. And we're excited for the fans to hear it. They haven't heard it like this yet, being produced and a studio version of this song. So hopefully it has the same heart that we have in the live streams. We think it does. We think it's great, and we hope that everybody's going to be singing along with it when it gets released.
there was my failed attempt at a joke for Kyndon. I was trying to say that he kind of looked like Dylan McDermott a little bit.
Oh, I did. You know, it's funny. I've heard that before, but I didn't hear you say that. You cut out right when you said
Okay.
that. And you said Dylan, which is your name. So I
Right,
just,
right.
it threw me
Oh.
off. So I didn't even hear the joke.
Okay.
But yeah,
That was a failed
I didn't.
attempt. I was
I
like,
didn't.
oh,
I didn't catch
crap.
it either.
yeah. No,
But,
no. Do you know? I get that all the time.
Really?
People say that all the time. Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah.
Well, do you have his bank account?
No, but I'm okay if I look like a celebrity. That's great.
Right.
It only helps, right?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
all three of you kind of do. Kyndon, you look like Dylan McDermott. Mark kind of looks like one of the guys from Low Cash. Preston from Low Cash. Where's the cowboy at?
Yeah.
And Michael
I
up
think
here.
it kind of looks like Eminem right now.
Yeah.
Well, maybe. maybe a little bit skinnier,
Just kidding.
and I think he could pull off the Marshall Mathers look there. And then Michael over here is looking like
Yeah, right.
a younger Vince Neil, black-headed Vince Neil from Motley Crue.
All right. All right.
That's true. Yeah.
Those are spot on
hilarious.
celebrities right there. That's pretty good.
Well, I mean,
That's
Michael was the first one to pop up on the screen. I looked and I was like, wait a second. Okay, this is kind of cool because you guys look different than, because I do a bunch of research for these things and I never wind up using the information I write down anyways. And I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Michael's got long hair, clean shaven. Now he pops up. I'm like, wow, look at Nikki Sixx over here, a tattoo-less Nikki Sixx. We're going good over here.
That's hilarious. Oh, that's funny.
So one of the things that I find interesting about separate one of you guys is like I went into this the dark web of doing research, and I found some cool information. Like Kyndon, like he collects like this old antique coins and money and all the kind of history facts. I think that's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What was?
Yeah, I grew up doing that. My grandpa, he had a bunch of coins and he would give them to me. And then my dad collected coins as well. And so my dad's giving me coins along the way. And then I've just done my own collecting. So just old stuff, random stuff.
Like you're the kind of person that no matter what state or what city you're in, there's like a flea market or a antique shop you're going to stop.
It just depends because sometimes you get the fakes and stuff like that. But so usually I try to buy it from somewhere that I know it's going to be real. But yeah, no, I usually, if I find it anywhere, I'll buy it.
What's the most valuable thing that you have right now?
It's tough to say, but I mean, I have some pennies. I've got a few of them that are called 1909 SVDBs, and they're worth probably $2,000 a piece. For a penny, what the penny's worth a penny. So if you didn't know it, but yeah, probably $2,000 a piece. Then I've got a couple $500 bills, some cool random stuff. Yeah,
dude, this was a few years ago. I made a trip with the family. Man, I was still in high school. I had to be 16 or 17. And we went over to Pigeon Forge and they had this old antique shop. And outside there was this guy, he was selling a bunch of coins and just different history stuff like that. And I picked up an 1898 penny. And I said, wow, this is kind of cool. He wanted $3 for it. Who cares if it's fake? It's just kind of cool to have. And so people were telling me, dude, you need to get that checked out. That could be worth a lot of money. And I was like, well, okay. So I took it. I shipped it off. It got shipped back. The thing is worth 2 cents. So I don't really think I hit that big of a steal there because it's worth a penny more.
That's hilarious. Yeah, honestly, there's so much that goes into it, like anything else. Like it depends. I mean, we're gonna talk about coins. I'll talk about coins. It depends on how many were made that year, and like the 1909 SVDBs, they only made, I don't remember if it was like 300,000 of them. And then, over time, people just are pennies. So people throw them away, you lose them, whatever. And so there was only X amount that are left. So that's the reason why they're so, but you could get, it doesn't matter the age, you can get one from the 1800s, but it may not be worth, nothing like $1 or like 2 cents because there were so many that were made. So they weren't very rare, but I'm a nerd that way.
Hey, we're all nerds in our own way, and I love the fact that you're not afraid to admit that, because a lot of people are afraid to admit that they're nerds for certain things. Like old Nikki Sixx in my top left corner over here is a big history buff, man. You're a big history nerd like myself.
Yes, sir. I absolutely love it.
What's the
huge history nerd? That's me.
What's the one thing that you learned that just kind of, attracted you to the subject?
So when I was in, when I was 11 years old, I started getting in. So my dad's a drummer as well. My dad's a professional drummer. And so I was I remember being in elementary school, and I really loved learning about history. We were just learning about American history at the time, and so and I had played drums. You know, my dad had showed me how to play drums a little bit and everything, and so you know I was practicing and everything, and then I started to get into fife and drum corps, which is kind of like that ancient style that they would do in the Revolutionary War, the American Civil War, and before that, you know. And so learning all that history and all those tunes and everything, and so I dove into that head first, just like I just ate it up. I was like, this is a little bit of a bunny trail, but when I was 10, 11 years old, I actually had major foot reconstructive surgery on both feet. So what that means is I did not have an arch in my foot, so they actually had to build me an arch. So so currently I have like pins and everything in my feet, you know, because they built it, and so.
My sister had
But
the same
that laid
thing.
me up for a year. I actually missed. Did she really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know then, and
Mhm.
so that laid me up for a solid year. And so, but I remember sitting in my bed with my practice pad, and my music, and I was sitting in my bed, just laid up there with my feet, like my foot in the cast and everything, and just being like, you know, just diving into that stuff and learning the history behind it. And so, gosh, I love history so much, and it, you know, I'm a big believer in that, you know, those who forget history are doomed to repeat it, you know. And so that's why I just love learning history. I love learning the lessons. I love learning about the stories of people. I love, I get fired up when I start thinking about, you know, when I start hearing stories of people back then, because they were no different than us today. It's like sometimes we lose that in the antique photos or the paintings. It's like there's these characters that are just kind of elite and just like, you know, these figures, you know, but we forget that they were humans. They were human beings, and they had emotions. They had loves. They had hates. They had everything. And gosh, so if we're talking about being a nerd, whoop whoop. That's me. So, yeah.
Good. I'm gonna call Mark. I'm gonna start calling you the Viking because I just love that Vikingstad. I love that name. Man.
Yeah, go for it, man.
If it's real or if it's
Yeah,
fake,
please.
I don't care.
Yeah.
The Viking. When did you learn that you could do?
Pretty awesome.
When did you learn that you could do the alphabet backwards? I mean, I don't know really many people that could do that.
Oh, the alphabet backwards was something that my brother taught me back when we were kids. My brother liked to learn like obscure songs or just strange kind of things, and he would memorize them. That's just my brother in a nutshell. And he would teach me the same thing. So he would teach me the alphabet backwards. And I don't know, he just started saying it. He was, because he knew it, and he's like, oh, well, you should learn it too, whatever. And then he just started singing, and I would just memorize how to sing it with him. It was all that it really was. And and he always said, hey, if you ever want to win a bet, he goes, tell people that you can, in high school at least, tell people that you can sing the alphabet backwards, and I'll be like, they won't believe you. And then I do it, and then I never actually made any money off of it, though. I never actually had the gusto to challenge people. But it's just a fun little party trick, I guess. People find it interesting. It's kind of fun.
Not gonna lie, man. You kind of stood me up a little bit. The two were way more before you were really more interesting. I'm joking.
That's funny.
Hey, I can't sing the alphabet backwards, so he's got me beat on that one.
I mean, me either. I'll be sitting there. I'll be going Z, Y, X, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, Q, R, S, T, U, V, U.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Say it frontwards and then go all the way backwards.
Yeah.
So tell me,
Yep.
you guys are here to talk about music. Let's be honest. But I just love to shoot the bull with most stuff you guys don't get to talk about, and I love that type of thing. But let's talk about your music. Let's talk first, and I know you probably answer this all the time. The name Lockeland. Where did that actually originate from?
Lockeland. We have different stories sometimes. It kind of depends on the day, but we'll give you the full version. When we first got together, we were trying to come up with a name for the group. We were in a text group or text thread, and so we were all throwing out ideas, like Mark, Michael. Well, Michael and I would throw out some ideas, and Mark would throw out like an inappropriate one, and we throw out some, and then Mark would throw out an inappropriate one.
Mine were always inappropriate and sort of just
Completely
on the comedic
like
side of things.
yeah, just just being goofy. And
Just breaking it up.
finally, I said something like Lockeland Springs, which is an area in Nashville, and I think it was Michael that said like, well, how about just Lockeland? And we were all like, yeah, actually, that's kind of cool. Let's go that route. So we kind of hit the ground running with the name, but then in the same respect, they're from New York, I'm from Kansas, and we all locked the land in between us and met in Nashville. Plus Nashville's landlocked. So there's so many different meanings behind it, but yeah.
There you go, man.
Exactly.
Shameless promotion. Shameless promotion.
Hey, look, I got a blank sleeve.
Mark's got the beanie too.
Yeah.
Well, if you got a Sharpie, we can fix that.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do they make you? But you can't put a white Sharpie over white shirt, can you? I don't think that's how that works.
No, I don't think so. I don't think it's going to show up as good. No, it's not going to show
But
up.
well. You can do whatever you want.
There we go.
Whatever you want. It won't work, but you can do whatever you want.
I know it's there. I know it's there.
Yeah.
So
That's what matters.
three guys, basically a threesome. 3 guys doing a thing. I can just imagine, the inappropriate comments, of what you probably thought about, like, come on, how funny would it be to call our band Dick and Balls? That would be very funny to call our band, But we're there.
That was probably one of them.
That would probably. But were there?
That may have been one of the things that we threw out there. Who knows?
But was there another name?
Hindsight, I wish we would have kept some.
Probably. Was there another name that you just like almost went with before Lockeland? Because I know like when Aerosmith went, I can't think of the name, but they went with one more before Aerosmith. And I remember they locked on that name because of Joey Kramer. But
we had some that each of us kind of personally liked, but we wanted to make sure that we were all on board for the same name. So like one that I liked was The Rise, which is RYES. And I kind of like that name, and they were kind of like, no, that sucks. And so
that would have been my second choice, though. I remember that one being in the back of it because I still remember that one.
Yeah, I really liked it. I just thought it was kind of cool. I don't know. Michael may have had one that he really liked too. I don't remember.
I think I did. I don't remember. It's honestly that was it was 2.5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah,
once Lockeland kind of stuck, we were like, okay.
Yeah, we should have kept the
we'll
text thread. Because if we would have kept the text thread, we could have actually read like half the stuff that was being said, which was pretty funny. Yeah,
would have made some funny things, man. It would have been great.
Mark, if I were you, I would have put my foot down and be like, we're calling this band the Vikingstads and the other 2. Who cares about whatever else the band's going to be called?
Just try to capitalize on the name Vikingstad. Yeah, I mean that's a good marketing ploy.
Is that your
Martin the Vikingstad?
Is that your real name? Vikingstad? Is that your real last name?
Yeah, that's my real name. My great grandfather changed the name from Christiansson to Vikingstad because Vikingstad.
Well, god dang, they're both
back then,
they're both fantastic last names. That is something I would fight for.
Both great, right? I think the original name was Christiansson, and the whole story about in as far as I know from what I was told from my grandparents is that they went in Norwegian culture they would be like your son would be named after your father. You'd be named after your father. So if my dad was Robert, then my last name would be Robert's son, and that's how they would continue down the line through the family that you would take on you'd be the son of whoever your father's name was. So. And they didn't want to do that anymore. My great grandfather didn't want to do that anymore. Wait, decided on the name Vikingstad, and it stuck.
Wait a second. So let me see if I'm catching on to this. So right now, let's say if that was carried on, your last name would be Robertson. If you were to have a son,
Robertson,
his last name would be Markson. Am I
Markson.
correct? Is that right? Is that how it would work?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's what was so hard doing my aunt on my father's side. So my dad's sister had to do some ancestry stuff, And it was very difficult to find out where the lines went because of the names would change.
Mm.
The
But how
names
does
down the
that
lines
work
would change,
legally?
and they had to do a lot of research. They got me. I have no idea. I understand. I can see how it could be very confusing, and even in that aspect too, it'd be like, oh, legally the names always change, but that's what they did. That was like I'm not exactly. That's just their cultural way of doing it.
You guys also could have been called Hall and Oakes with the Kyndon Oakes last name right there. That
Oh,
would
I
have
love
been
that.
kind of cool,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like kind of like Steel
Yeah.
like Steel Panther, how they're like the funny 90s hair band. Like they're not like they don't really do the cocaine and all of that stuff. I mean, I'm probably sure they did, but they're just living that hair the hair rock band days. That would have been cool to see. And because there's a lot of bands like that now. Like, can you name one band that sticks out and that others have followed though? Or just one musician? Not really. I mean, Michael Jackson had his own stance. Elton John had his own stance, but no one really followed into their footsteps as in, take Elton John, piano men. There could have been a long line of people that played the piano and still rocked out and jammed. Can you guys think of any? Because I don't think I can, honestly.
Mm-mm.
No.
And that's the hallmark of a true artist, right? Because it's like when you identify that thing that is uniquely you, that it's only your stamp. Other people can draw influence from it, but there will never. So, for example, Michael Jackson, right? There's a lot of people who have drawn influence from Michael Jackson in his production, in his vocal style, in his dancing, whatever it is. But there's never going to be another Michael Jackson. So, and I think that's the hallmark of a true artist. A true artist captures that one thing that's uniquely them, and which is why you can't think of any people that follow in their footsteps, because it's. I mean,
Bruno Mars is a
Bruno Mars
like Michael Jackson.
Gets close, yeah.
Yeah,
he's fantastic.
But for what you said, Michael, but does that make let's take the 60s, 70s, and 80s, the bands, like the hair bands, for example, does that make them any less of a legacy because people followed in the first person that did it?
Right. I see what you're saying. I feel like that's kind of more of like the hair band thing. Like that's more like a lot of those things too were kind of like staples of, especially in staples of the era. So for example, like the bands, like the music, they create the production style, like, that's, at that time, in that time period, that's the style of the production that was happening. That's the style of the songwriting that was happening. And so, but a lot of those great ones, like, really did make their mark, they made their mark. Yeah. And, so you talk about hair bands, like Kiss, I mean, they're like such a crazy example of just sticking out and being unique. There's no one that can really be there will never be another Kiss. There will be bands that will emulate them and that will draw from their influence and their creativity, but when you really tap into that unique thing that, like, is uniquely them, it's hard to emulate.
There's
I think that a lot of the influences, like if somebody is a copycat, they usually come out with a one-hit wonder and then that's it. They don't really, expand further than that. And those, like the Kiss and 90s country, a lot of them that were popular, they took what was working, but they made it their own sound. They made it their own way. And I think that's important to remember, because I think, if you just go and you do the bro country, like not to talk bad about bro country, because it is what it is, but if you were to just go do the bro country right now, you're only going to go so long. Whereas if you make it your own, Sam Hunt was a prime example of someone who made it his own. Like, it was almost kind of rappy type in the country, and it worked for him. But if somebody else went and did that, they'd be like, oh, well, that person just trying to be like Sam Hunt, and the longevity of their career probably wouldn't be that great due to that.
That kind of makes sense when you both kind of break it down like that, because it's kind of like, what era of clothing are we in? Like, take take hair bands, for example, like, you know,
Mhm.
like, and take country music. You, for a while there, if you did not have a cowboy hat, you were not supposed to be singing country music. And then now it's kind of into the skinny jeans type of, you know, you can wear boots, you can wear tennis shoes type of deal, I think.
It's starting to go back to the cowboy hats. I'm seeing a lot more country
Yeah.
artists like Drew Parker and you know, Cody Johnson wearing those cowboy hats, and it works.
Yeah. It's that pendulum. It's like a
Yeah.
pendulum. It swings back and forth.
What are each of you? I want to ask each of you this. What's one song, not a certain genre, that you just can't stand anymore because it's just like you listen to it for so long? Like, for me, it would be if I went to a Garth Brooks concert, and this is a very unpopular opinion. And if I went to a Garth Brooks concert and he did not sing Friends in Low Places, I would not walk out unhappy, because I remember just listening to that song with my brother over and over and over and over, where it's just kind of, it just kind of sours on your stomach a little bit. And you're just like, okay, that's fine. I don't have to hear that.
Oh, I totally understand what you mean. But I can't, you know what? I can't remember for the life of me the song. I had a specific song. I remember telling my wife, and I said, if I never heard that song again, I wouldn't be mad. And now I can't for the life of me remember what that song was. She'd have to remind me, because I cannot remind me. I think it was some 80s pop song, I think. And honestly, I wish I could remember what it was, but it was like an 80s pop song. And I was like, if I never heard this song again, oh, I know, I figured it was Eye of the Tiger. If I never heard Eye of the Tiger ever again, I would be okay. My life is okay if I never hear Eye of the Tiger. You know, I know it's a good song to get pumped up to. You're working out, you're in the gym, whatever. But man, if that song comes on, I'm skipping it. I'm sorry.
Man, that's a tough question. I think for me, I'm kind of funny the music in the way I've always listened to music growing up, because I go on like kicks. You know, for example, listen to this is weird, but like I'll listen to like classical music for like a solid couple weeks, or like however long, and like it'll be only classical music, and I'll just, you know, be into that. And then I'll listen to only 90s country, and then I'll listen to only rock or only R&B. You know, I'm weird like that. I'm kind of one of those people, and so I don't listen to the radio a whole super duper lot. I do every now and then just to kind of hear what's going on and everything. But there's a couple. I mean, like a song I hear, you know, a lot, you know, with that the Breakfast Club, I think. Don't you forget about me. Like, I don't know. Although there is a cool drum fill. There is a cool drum fill in that song, which is pretty awesome. But I think like Mark, it's like if I never heard it again, I'd be like, oh, okay, you know. But it's, I mean, for what it is, it's still a good song. It's just, you know, when you hear something over and over, naturally, it's like you just get sick of it sometimes.
Right, right.
Too much of anything is a bad thing, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I'll probably make some people upset. And this is not even from me listening to this person. It's just a choice that I don't care. And this goes for literally every one of her songs. If I never heard them again, I'd be fine. That's Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I just don't,
No, I kind of, no, I
wouldn't care. I mean,
I agree with you. I agree.
You know,
Yeah. Because for me, Kyndon, and I don't know if you agree as well with Taylor Swift, I just feel like she's talking about the same guy in every single song on every single album.
she's pretty bitter. I mean, it makes for great writing. I get that.
Yeah.
But it's like, just like, meet someone, Taylor, and just like settle down. You don't have to hate every guy for the rest of your life. Yeah.
I want to know, what in the world does this mystery mean behind Lockeland? You guys hail from the land of Oz and you're following the yellow brick road. What in the obviously that's some Wizard of Oz crap happening. I figured it would be something along like, sword fighting with the Viking over here, or we could just call him, Wizardstad or something. But what is up with these Wizard of Oz? With these Wizard of Oz.
I'm from Kansas. Yeah, so I'm from Kansas, small town Kansas, and so that's where they're saying I hail from the land of Oz, and then these guys are from New York. So that's where that comes from.
Wait, so because you hail from Kansas and them two hail from New York, how does that Wizard of Oz come into play? I'm serious here. I really want to know, how does that, just because you're from Kansas, is that supposed to be like
Yes.
like an inner joke?
Yes. Well, just because I'm from Kansas, like, Wizard of Oz was based in Kansas. And so that's yep, literally where it comes from. Mm-hmm.
Where are you guys located?
I guess the Yellow Brick Road is the road of the music industry. I guess the Yellow Brick Road is like that path of the music industry.
Yeah, maybe.
I have not thought that hard about this, to be honest.
Well, man,
we should.
I'm an overthinker.
Maybe we should.
I'm a really bad overthinker. Like if a TV show does, like I recently just finished Cobra Kai, right? All 3 seasons on Netflix. Sat there and binged it.
Oh, I finished that too.
The main guy, Miguel, the main teenager in the show that's doing karate, right? Whatever happened at the end of season 2, what happened at the end of season 2 without spoiling it, and it rolled into season 3. And I'm sitting there, and this teenager goes into a coma. And I remember distinctly before he went into the coma, he had braces. And then when he came out of the coma, his braces were gone. And I remember overthinking that so much, like, wait a minute, how did his braces come off if he was in a coma? Like, and that's how bad of an overthinker I am. I'm just sitting there like, wait. None of this makes sense because it took away the whole plot for the show.
Well, I mean, I can answer that for you.
I mean,
as an actor, he went in at the end of season 2 and was an actor, and he had braces on. And then it was about a year before they started filming again. So then he took his braces off, and then he had to just end up right back in that coma bed.
Thank you very much for
accepting.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny.
So when you are from this land of Oz, what mystical things are you kind of looking at through the lenses of a entertainment industry?
Of which industry? Of the music industry?
Yeah, entertainment, music, whichever.
Yeah. I mean, nothing mystical. I just grew up in small town Kansas, growing up on 90s, 90s country and country in general. So I mean, as far as the music industry goes, we've all been here for 10 plus years, and we've hit the ground running, and we've lived here long enough to kind of, know the ins and outs. But we're trying like anyone else, just to play shows and be successful. And I think, just getting older, we've learned a lot too. I mean, I just told Mark the other day that I was like, man, if I knew what I knew now when I was like 23, it'd be a completely different ball game. But you got to take that road in order to learn, and that's kind of where we're at.
The Viking and Nikki Sixx, you guys are from New York City. So is country music big in New York? Because I don't hear a lot of people.
It was big on Long Island.
Okay.
Yeah, Long Island, it was big. When I was growing up, they had a couple of country radio stations when I was growing up. And then when I went to college in upstate New York, of course, up there in upstate New York, it's very much similar to Nashville in the sense of the ruralness of it. And then when I moved to Nashville, I think Long Island got rid of their country radio stations at the time that I was away from home. And they recently got another country radio station back within the past probably 5 to 7 years. They got another popular country radio station up there. So it's coming back a little bit. Long Island, I'm not sure how big it is, but in upstate New York, I know it's pretty rural up there. They love country music. My roommates in college loved country music. They loved it.
So, yeah, I'm actually from upstate New York. I'm not from the city, and so I it's funny, like there were country stations. I remember there was some country stations up there, and a lot of people listened to it. And it was just, you know, it's a whole different climate up there than New York. It's a lot of dairy farm, a lot of dairy farms. Uh, yeah, I mean it's beautiful up there, and so
How far is Staten Island from Long Island, Mark? Like, is it like a
It's not that far. I mean, if you, it's literally a bridge. It's a bridge. You just take the bridge over, and you're on Staten Island. You take the bridge back, you're on Long Island. It's
So are
literally
those-
right next to each other.
But are they actual? And you're gonna think I'm nuts, but are they actual islands? Like, or is it just called like Long Island?
Yes.
Because okay. I didn't know if it was that or they were just so small they considered.
No, it's all islands, and they're everything's kind of like smashed together. They're right. Everything's really close together. So when they say like Manhattan Island, like New York City is actually on an island, and everything's just connected by bridges and subways and stuff. But yeah, the Long Island's actually an island. If you go all the way, you can actually go all the way around Long Island on a. I've seen people do it on sailboats and stuff. I've heard people doing that, and rowboats too. If they can actually row all the way around Long Island. So yeah, it's an island.
That's interesting because I've always wondered that, because there's a show I watch on TV like Impractical Jokers, and they're from like Staten Island. They're always jumping around different parts of New York City, and I'm like, well,
Yeah.
how far are they traveling from this place to that place? So that was just something curious that I've
That's
always
just
thought about.
Yeah, it's a train ride. Yeah, for those guys, yeah. It's a train ride. Hop on the subway. You're there. You're there pretty quick too.
So you're from the city, Mark. So that was really Nashville's kind of like an impacted place. And I'm pretty sure it's not as wild as New York, but was it kind of the same as in the city-wise as New York was?
Well, I mean, I grew up on Long Island, which, I mean, we were close enough to the city that we were there all the time. But New York City is totally different than Nashville, as far as I can remember going to New York City. It's just that the city is there's a lot of energy in New York City, where, like they say, the city that never sleeps. It's true. I mean, I remember going to see, I think we saw a movie one time when I was going to we were on Staten Island with some friends. We went and saw a movie, and we went to New York City to go see it. And when we're in New York City, it's 12 o'clock at night by the time we get out, and the streets are just packed with people, packed with people. And they're out all night till 4 or 5 in the morning until the sun comes up, and then everyone goes to work, and it's just the same amount of people on the streets. It really is. There's so much energy there. It's wild.
Mm.
Nashville's totally laid back. It's totally different. It's totally laid back here.
Is that where you guys are, all three of you, located in Nashville right now?
Mhm.
Yep.
Now, do you guys, being a three-guy group, is there ever any tension between either one of you with, like, you fight over this and it kind of, like, here's an example. I'm trying to give a question and it's kind of rumbling around in my mind, but, like, let's say if Kyndon here has a fight with the Viking, and then does that kind of rumble over into the whole band and it brings Michael into the situation? Has that ever happened?
So for the three of us, like, naturally, anytime you enter into a business relationship like this, especially with music is very, very unique because it is such a personal thing, and it's art, and so art is held very close to the artist, and so we are three artists being come together. So sometimes there is rub and there's a little conflict there, but like anything, it's growing pains. Like when we first started, there were a few situations that arose, and disagreements or whatever. And so the three of us, had those disagreements and, just talked it out. And I think communication is one of our big things is like, we just try to communicate and just be open and honest and try not to, we try not to belittle anybody else's feelings or like their concerns or anything, and just and discuss them and discuss the best options. And I think, we're coming up 2.5 years or so of Lockeland, 2.5, 3 years ish right in there. We've come a long way. I think we've we really got into like a pretty good stride as far as, approaching those different things. And, but yeah, I mean, naturally there's always going to be some conflict. I mean, it's, you're talking about having a business with 2 other people, and you're making big decisions. You're making big decisions that can impact your personal life, your career, the career as a whole for the band. Like it's so naturally there's going to be some differences of opinion, but the three of us, I think we've done a pretty good job at, keeping it going and just being on each other's team no matter what, because at the end of the day, like you have to come together, so.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. What really interests me is kind of, are there any in country music in general, besides Lady Antebellum or Lady A, is there any other threesome groups that have made it as big as they have?
I mean, you could say Rascal Flatts, you know.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true. I didn't think about
it
them.
depends. Yeah.
Yeah, there's quite a few. Of course, I say there's quite a few, and I can't think of any off the top of my head. Of course,
right?
Well, and I would just say that this day and age, there aren't as many. 90s country, you had Diamond Rio, you had Shenandoah, Alabama, Lone Star. I mean, all these different groups, Restless Heart, all these different groups that had those harmonies and were the bands or so they were. I mean, I guess some of them trios, but even Rascal Flatts. But I think right now country could use some more trios, and I know there are some up and coming groups out there, whether it's kind of Lady A type groups where it's 2 girls and a guy or 2 guys and a girl, but not a lot that are 3 guys. So I feel like that we're kind of coming up in a good time, and country could use that 3-part harmony from 3 dudes.
This question, Mark, you're gonna have to step out because you're married, and so it's gonna involve Kyndon and Boris over here. Out of the 2 of you guys, who's the more of a ladies' man than the other?
Well, I am not single anymore, so.
Okay. Forget your partner. Forget your partner. Forget they ever exist. When it was just you 2 and you guys were single.
Oh, that's impossible to do. That's impossible to do. I can't.
You're gonna get in a fight right there, huh? Well, Kyndon, I guess you're the only one left. I guess you're the only one that can live the sex, drugs, and country music, rock and roll type of life now, huh?
Yeah, I'm the odd man out now. I'm the odd man out. I typically stay away from the drugs. Those don't usually, do good. But yeah, I mean, heck, you gotta have shows to have the ladies. So really, it's just like dating apps, I guess, right? I don't even use a dating app either. But
have you guys ever tried a dating app?
I have.
Yeah,
I have.
I think I tried one for like a second.
Was it kind of like successful? And different, because I guess successful could mean different ways, like different people's perspective of success.
I would say success for me would be I'd be in a relationship, so I would say it's been unsuccessful, but it's been a while since I've used one.
So what do you guys, well, I'm going to stick on the dating app, because when you guys are on the dating app. Have you seen any kind of country music artists or just different singer-songwriters on the dating apps?
I haven't. Mm-mm. No, I've seen people I know, like girls that I've met and stuff when but not any other artists or anything. I think most artists, especially if they're established, they probably stay away from that.
Yeah,
maybe not Morgan Wallen. He might be on those. I don't know.
No, he's actually
getting in trouble as it is.
He's actually, I just saw him the other night. He was taking shots from another girl's butthole this time, not her mouth. So we'll see where this gets him. If another apology.
Oh my God.
No, I didn't know. But another next question would be like, when you guys are on stage, when, let's just say one of you guys is dealing with a problem, whatever it may be, someone, something's happening at home. You've got problems at home. You've got problems on the road. Kind of, do those problems go away when you appear up on stage and you just kind of forget everything that's happened and you're just lost in the music? Or is it kind of, because there's some situations you just can't forget about. Let's be honest. It's always in your mind, and it always. So I guess I'm asking in a long form of question is, has your past experiences or something that's keeping, your mind fully going, has it ever affected a show?
I think personally for me, whenever we get on stage, like you said, I mean, it is actually pretty easy for myself to just get lost in the music on stage. I mean, sometimes you might even get so lost that you forget how to play a song, which I am guilty of. But I think when you go through the show and you're playing, you're feeling the energy of the crowd, especially the live shows, and especially recently too. We've been playing some great shows with great crowds over at Puckett's Grocery around town in Tennessee, and the crowds have been great. And when you get lost in the music for that hour and a half that you get to play, you really are, your mind is totally just in the moment. And I think that's what's so wonderful and brings so much joy personally for my life, is being able just to play and feel that joy. And for that hour and a half, none of that other stuff that's even in your mind matters at that moment. You're just playing music, and you're making people feel really good about listening to your music. And I think that's what's so important, is to always remember that. So if we are on stage and with the experience that we do have being a band, and with being in songwriters rounds and different things, if something else is happening, we're pretty good at keeping that off the stage, and we just bring our A game on stage, and we try to keep that going through the whole show. So whatever's in the back of your mind, you leave it at the stage steps, and you just come out and perform.
Yep.
And this that you guys can all pitch in, or one can answer, because I'm pretty sure you guys do interviews together. What's one question you always are going to get, and you're going to get this one question during an interview? And what's that one question?
It's usually,
All right.
Where'd you get your name?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
that's a big one. Yeah, that's a big one. Where'd the name come from?
What about what's one question or one topic you're never going to get to talk about, but you want to talk about it, and that that person is not going to ask it?
Oof, man, I don't know about that. I couldn't even think of what I would want to talk about outside of what we're already talking about already.
Yeah.
With the music and just being able to promote this music and this project that we do, which is Lockeland. I think that's what's I've always expect that. I don't know if there's really anything else that I kind of want to get into as much as this. It's just this is where all the fun is for me.
So this is going to be a very average, because I don't consider myself an interviewer. I consider myself a talker, because like you've seen here, we just talk. We really just chat, and I ask some questions along the way.
Yeah.
Who were some of your guys' heroes growing up? And I know that's a very average interviewer question. You're going to get that too, but I kind of want to get inside your guys' minds as we kind of slowly wind down here. who were your influences growing up?
Yeah, I mean, we all have separate influences, but then again, the same ones too. But you know, I mean, for me, grew up in '90s country, so the Colin Ray, Travis Tritt, Joe Nichols, Joe Diffie, I mean, Shenandoah, all those groups, Diamond Rio. I mean, all those groups heavily influenced me. And on into other genres. You know, any '90s alternative was also huge for me, like Goo Goo Dolls, Matchbox 20.
Oh man,
just music in general, anything that yeah. I mean, all that was, if it's good music, I'm gonna listen to it. And you know, I think you can get influences from all music, all genres. And so I think that's important to kind of keep your ears open to all music.
That's one band that I find that's very underrated is Goo Goo Dolls. But then obviously they're underrated, but they're also overrated in a certain sense, because it's just, because everybody is known for that one song, and their one song is like Iris. And I know we're all gonna scream it at a concert, but like for me, I love Name, and I love like one of the old album cuts is like Shadow and stuff. Yeah, I love all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Goo Goo Dolls, I can go. Yeah, I mean, that's my jam. I know every song. So yep.
All right. What about Mark and Michael? Who are some of your guys' influences?
My biggest influences for country music is Garth. Garth Brooks was my biggest influence growing up. I got to go see him when I was 10 years old, or 10 years old, seeing him at Central Park, and it was an incredible experience. It's one of the reasons why I even wanted to do music in the first place, was just seeing that concert. I was so inspired by it. And I remember leaving and being like, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to try to aspire to be, is do this on stage and perform for people. I love that. And so I never looked back after that. It changed. It made that was the course that I wanted to stay on, and I've always stayed on it. So he was a big influence. But like Kyndon said, it's '90s country. It's the Joe Diffies. It's the Diamond Rios. It's the early Tim McGraw songs. There's so much to it. The Beatles, for all the harmonies that we sing, learning those harmonies with the Beatles and singing their songs. And I mean, there's so much music to consume out there. It's hard to just pinpoint those certain ones, but I mean, definitely Garth and definitely the Beatles are the two top big ones for myself.
Michael, I want you to answer, but I want to come back to the Beatles because I want to ask all three of you guys a question about the Beatles. But go ahead, Michael. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. So as far as the '90s country stuff that Mark and Kyndon were talking about, I have to know exactly what Alabama, Diamond Rio, like those '90s countries artists, like harmony and songs and structure. And, I mean, honestly, that goes as far as '90s country. I am a mixed bag when it comes to genres and things that I grew up listening to. I listen to, as all three of us do, but as different as it is, classical music was a very big influence in my life. I love classical music. I love R&B and funk. I love Christian music. I love classic rock. Honestly, it's, for me, it goes back kind of more by genre, But if there was a couple bands I'd have to name, like one of my all-time bands is Earth, Wind, and Fire. I love Earth, Wind, and Fire, the harmonies, the production. Oh my gosh, just absolutely incredible. Their live show, unbelievable. Chicago is another one. Kind of similar to that same vein, but similar. And but again, the unifying factor in all those is like a lot of the harmonies, and there's big vocals, and so yeah.
So my question about the Beatles is, and we're winding down here, so we're almost finished with you guys, is one of the bigger, I don't necessarily believe the conspiracy theories about anything, but I find them very, very fascinating, and I can find myself diving into them and just reading all about every one of them and just kind of thinking, that may actually be true, knowing in my mind it's not. But So that leads to the Beatles, which is, do you guys think Paul McCartney is dead?
I've heard this. I've heard the conspiracy. I've heard that he was supposedly actually dead, and that Paul is dead, and with I Am the Walrus and all this, and I've heard that before, and he's like the original bassist or whatever is not Paul McCartney. There's a whole thing. I don't know. I'm just gonna say that no, I think Paul is still live and well, and I still think that he is the guy that we know. Paul McCartney is the guy that we see now who's still alive today.
Have you guys seen that crazy video of Michael Jackson where on the night he died, you know, he gets into the corner van, they put him in the corner van. Somebody followed the corner van and snuck into the gate where he was at and caught, air quote, Michael Jackson jumping out of the corner van and going into the police station. That was him supposedly faking his death. I don't believe it, but then you watch the video and you're like, there's no way that could be fake because it's 100% Michael Jackson. I mean, it was definitely like, holy crap, man, what is this stuff?
Now I'm gonna have to look that up. I haven't seen that one.
There's some wild stuff out there.
Yeah,
it's really crazy. you know, we actually here. Let me see if I can actually pull it up real quick, because I actually want to see your guys' face as I pull this up. So give me just 1 second here, and I'll get it pulled up. We're going Joe Rogan here, looking up videos on the internet over Zoom.
And Dylan, we have another interview in about 8 minutes, so we'll just have to make sure we're done before the 8-minute mark here.
Okay, no, we're fine. We're fine. That's fine. We'll just forget about the video then. Cool. So last question for you, which is, this was going to be the last question anyways, either way we're going to do, which is, what is success to each of you? Because success is different for everybody, but what is success in your mind?
I think success for me is to reach that place that you've always wanted to be at, and to be there and to sort of relish in that moment. I think if we have success where we're able to make money, we're able to support our families, and we're able to do music, and our income is the music, I think that's when I will be like, yeah, this is successful in my personal view. I think that's what I've always wanted to strive for. Not saying I don't want to strive for more, but if I would definitely consider myself successful in making money in the music industry, be able to support a family, I think that's one of those things that I'm really looking forward to, is getting to that point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that as well. I mean, you know, making money, being able to do it for a living and travel and play music and write for a living would be a dream come true, and that'd be success in my opinion as well.
And going back to the fans, I mean, having the fans as being there, and I think having people listen to the music, I mean, in terms of regardless of the monetary, the return of putting music out there and getting paid for it, having the fans listen to it is another thing that I think is successful. That, you know, if we can have millions of fans, I would definitely consider that a success, that our music has touched that many people. Just to add on, sorry, Michael.
No, it's okay. I mean, honestly, just to echo what Mark and Kyndon have said, like that sits for me as well. I think for the three of us are very entrenched in our faith, and so for us, what we're doing here is a lot more than just music and making music. It's wanting to be a light, to give people hope, and you know, we pray before every show, and we just pray that, like, you know, whatever happens during that show, that, like, you know, that the Lord would use us to be a light and just to bring joy to people, no matter, because you never know what people are going through, you know, like when they're coming into your show, we're all going through stuff, you know, so some people are walking in, maybe they just need some joy. They just need some joy in their life. And so it's our hope and our prayer that we can, of like the chord structure and the lyrics and all that stuff, that we can really impart joy and life into people, and that doesn't come from us, that comes from above. And so that's what we pray for, just use to the best of our ability, you know. And so I think that'd be me. That's in addition to what those guys have been talking about. That's success.
Well, look, Lockeland, Michael and Mark and Kyndon, I really appreciate you guys. And I do apologize for that thing that we just happened earlier. I wasn't prepared, as you can see. So you know for a fact that interview that you're going to do next is going to be way better than this one, because they're probably more professional than I am. I just go with the flow here, man. Whatever comes out, comes out.
We're just talking, man. We're just talking.
We're good with that. Yeah.
We're talking, baby. It's good.
But you can get what you guys' new single is Made from Mornings, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
That was the latest single was Made for Mornings, and the newest single is going to be Blackberry Whiskey. We're gonna be releasing that in early April, mid-April. So be on the lookout.
All right, cool. So they guys are gonna leave. They're gonna go back to their mystical land of Oz and take the yellow brick road to another interview. But I really appreciate you guys. Honestly, I really appreciate you guys doing this for me.
Hey, thank you, Dylan. We appreciate it.
Hey, thanks, Dylan. Really appreciate it, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Right. Bye, guys. Have a good one.
Take care.
Bye, you too.